Oh, where is it? Yeah, I wanna be stream manager. Is this the one? Yep, this is the one. Okay, Twitch is working fine. Oh, I assume YouTube is fine as well. Destinations? Well, allegedly YouTube is fine. Wait, it says offline. I need to refresh this. I guess. Oh yeah, now it shows online both. Okay. Right. So tomorrow, I mean today. Well, today is yesterday's tomorrow. Right. I just woke up, which is a good sign. I guess first of all the update of my sleep. On my sleep, I slept really well. Like at minimum, I slept for 7 hours, so I'm really happy about that. Right. And today, I guess first of all I will be checking out how menus are implemented so far, and then I will see what can I improve on. Maybe something is missing. Well, I will need to introduce buttons, because that's a new feature on Discord that I want to implement. And now that I think of, I might want to implement drop-down menus as well. Even though I don't have any menu that uses them so far, I think it would be well, yeah, maybe I shouldn't rush ahead and implement things that I won't actually use or need at the moment. Sounds like what you call it, a waste of time. Let's see. So let's start with constructor, and constructor takes menu ID. So yeah, menu ID is the thing that identifies a menu, and it's just a unique string for the menu. Basically a name for the menu. Now takes user, messages, and the context. Right. But yeah, this is different than I think it's as different than user's context, because user's context has state of his current menu and current configuration, and this context for the menu context has the list of items in it. Well, some menus have methods that should be called in case, well, to validate the input, in case the menu is for user input. Yeah, I think that's why this input class is for. Can double checks basic setup. So okay, so it does the basic setup as all the other menus. Now I think handling input is a little bit different. Let's see how input is handled usually in normal menu. To handle input, extracts a message. Oh, I guess it's called from outside. Yeah, so when user inputs something, the current menu gets extracted out of user's context. Well, saved there. It's not like it needs extracting, but yeah, it's saved there. So you take it from user's context, and then we just call a method handle input. I guess it could be written in a way that it could handle both text and a button press. Right. Content. So this takes out white spaces on both ends. Okay. So if the text inputted by the user, or in the message, text in the message the user sent, corresponds to one of the menu key, and menu keys are these menu items. Yeah, from menu items. So it looks in its own meaning menus in its own context, goes through menu items and checks if it matches any of the keys. So if it does, it selects that menu item and then checks if menu variable. So if is in the context. So when you create the menu, if you add some variables that need to be set, how does this actually work? Well, I get that the context. Okay, I guess I just need to keep reading. So it checks if there are menu variables and and the text itself is in the menu variables. Oh. I still don't get it. Oh, I said oh as if I realized something, but right after that I realized that yeah, that's wrong. Let's drink some coffee. Kinda needs more sugar, but I would prefer it to be a little bit more sweet. Right. So this is the annoying part, that these menu item variables and so on are all constant. So basically all of these are just strings. It's looking for strings. I don't really like. So I guess there should be two different classes for context. One context is for user's context, another class for menu context. Which one? I think I already initiated one of them. Menu context. Okay, so that's great. Right. Menu item variables. What it's okay, so don't really understand. Does it save the menu items? But menu items are saved here. Oh, so it either it needs to decide if it passes along to the function that is assigned to that particular menu, Menu item variables text. It looks like as if the input is passed on as a variable to the mapped function. If oh, so this is to remember the choice. So the second menu knows what was chosen before in the previous menu. Now, well, at least that would be the result. I guess it makes sense. Right. Because, well, we can take a look at what kind of menus. Well, huh. Okay. Okay, so it doesn't have item variables. Well, I guess there are menus with multiple choice, so I guess it's meant for those. Yeah, I'm trying to think of if this is actually universal. Well, I guess you can have it both. You can have a menu that's aware of what was chosen before. So, for example, when you're setting up a bot, it knows what you've chosen out of given options, but it's still, so it has variables and text. Like this part, this check I don't really understand. What's the point? So this checks that it was provided. Menu item variables was provided, and then it checks if the text is actually in the item variables, which is a little bit baffling, because why would it be there? Unless I already knew what's supposed to be entered. In that case, why do I have... do I provide the menu to do that? Yeah, this is a little bit convoluted. So, okay, let's think in general terms. Okay, let's look at the implementation of user input menu. Yeah, because this doesn't even make sense. Like, why would you know the text? No. So menu item variables would already have the text. This is like a multiple choice. Like, it seems like it does the same thing twice or something. I don't really understand why it's written this way. I'm sure there was a reason for it, but I'm kind of skeptical if that was a really if it actually was a good reason. Right. And for user input, okay, we get the text, self context, input validation method. Okay, so it checks if. Oh, it doesn't even check. Oh, it does check. If input validation was provided in the menu context, then what it does. Oh, so it passes on labels, no translations, user, and the text that was inputted, no user's input, to the validation method, and which returns errors. So if there are no errors, then success method is called, and if there are errors, what it does return validation failure, so it calls another method. Okay. I guess you have two methods, right? One method validates the input, and and what about this? If there is no validation, so it calls successful method right off the bat. So if there were no errors, like this doesn't, I called this twice, which is odd. Well, in the method, like you can restructure the method slightly to avoid this by rewriting this if. So if error is not none, then I execute this part, which is the okay, I should probably check before I commit to this. Will return self. Wait, so this means, why is this even here? Put failed validation and there is no failed validation handler, so okay, this is an impossible state. So let's not have it at all. Why would you have a... Oh. It would just wouldn't work, it would keep repeating the same thing. Because it will just return itself again as the new menu. So you just get into a loop that, yeah. I don't think that's a good behavior. So if it's not in the... Okay, so if input validation is provided and if there are no errors, then return success. Oh no. Wait. If yeah, so if there were errors. Yeah, so this is what I'm checking, if there are errors. And in that case, if there are errors, I call failure event. And in the rest of the cases, so this can be removed and this else is not necessary. So it has, so if it doesn't have a validation method, it will call the success, validation success. So input validation success, yeah, that's a bit odd wording, but I guess I should probably just call it success method and that's it. So now what will happen is, so I call, well, so the restructuring, the result of this shuffling around will be that functionality shouldn't change. Well, it changes, but not in a significant way. Not, I think the previous behavior was a little bit odd, where you could get into a loop, because the menus are misconfigured. And here, it will just, whenever any of these ifs fail or return false, it will just return the success method, which will be either there is nothing to validate, or there were no errors when validation method was called, because that's what we want. Easy. And here, oh yeah, and the only other method is called when if there are errors and failure method was in the context. Yeah, that would be odd if you actually have input validation method which can fail and don't provide a failure method, which, yeah, I guess I could do by accident. I'm not sure what I would like to do in those cases. Probably throw an error. Wait. Let's see. Kinda want to keep this. No. And input failed validation, there is no failure validation handler. So yeah, this should be printed out still, but not as debug. I think this is a serious problem. Let's call it a warning, because it reaches a state that it never should. So if I see this in the log, then I know that something is not right. And it's kind of self-explanatory. Maybe I would like to know the menu. Validation. Handler call next. Oh. Input failed. Validation, there is no failure validation handler, okay. Input in menu so and so failed, and the actual menu will be self ID. That's so the menu's ID will be provided in the logs. So at least I will know where to look. Won't have to go. Okay, I kinda like the this message. This is clear. This is clear what it does and how it works, and there isn't much room for. I guess these variables like I don't like. These should be removed. I guess they can replace them now. Validation method. So where was it? Classes. Here it is. Have it here by the sign. So menu items. Let's see. Menu IDs. How do I write plural? Plural. Time to check on my like. Let's do a quick English sanity check. Plural meaning. Okay, I don't see the actual meaning. I think it's Cambridge English Dictionary. Single of lots of different race. No. Different races or types of people or of different things. We need to recognize that we are now living in a plural society. The hell? Denoting more than one. Yeah, more than one. Yeah, so it's multiple of something. Doesn't have to be what races? What is it? Different races. I guess this is part of an example or something. Like races is in a plural form. How do you actually pronounce it? Plural. Okay. Right. Plural. Something or something. Good enough. Yeah, how do you write IDs in plural form? That's the question I have. Menu IDs. I guess there's put S in the end. No, but it doesn't look right. Okay. Menu IDs. Listed. As choices. Yeah, it's a little bit confusing because menus are both menus can be inside other menus as choices to continue to the next menu. I guess that's, yeah, I don't think that can actually be helped. So let's see how it's used. Menu ID. So the constructor in the context, it has context assigned to the self, and here menu items. Right, so it goes through the list of menu items. Since it is a dictionary, it takes the keys, and keys are usually like the symbols you actually need. What does the Algorand config bot do? Oh, hello. Haven't seen you before. I can show you really quick. Where's my Discord? It's a Discord bot. Right. So I go to my Discord and there's configuration bot. I send him a message. What it does, it just provides you, it's like a guided, a wizard for setting up other bots. So this is like a, well, since I made a bot that became popular, I had, at first I set up bots for people manually, and eventually I got to a point where I just was spending hours each day setting up bots, doing nothing else, but just setting up bots for people, like getting back and forth because something was not correct and so on. Like, it became such a long process that I decided to make a dedicated bot that does nothing else but sets up bots. Like, it's so configuration bot configures other bots. So that's what it actually does. So, and it looks like this at the moment. This is how it looks. So I select like well, this is how you interact with it. You send messages and it provides you like a next menu. Like, that's the terminology I use, I guess. It's like a yeah, so it's like a wizard where you go through the menus for like I'm not sure if you, oh yeah, wizards still is still a thing. It's not like something that's been used like 10 years ago. So people should still know what it is. That's really interesting. Yeah, well, I'm glad you're interested in this. Actually, well, I'm not sure. May I ask you how did you find me? What were you looking for? And are you interested in programming yourself? Because if so, I have an interesting idea coming soon that involves like programming with my viewers in a way. Like it would be like a guided, I don't want to use words like lecture or lesson, but it would be a way for new developers or people who are just interested in trying out development, writing some useful code that they could even looking for people working with Python, and you're the one and only as of right now streaming on Twitch. Oh, am I? I didn't really check. Well, I guess now is not really like the prime time. What kind of region would have those? Or sorry, I woke up like half an hour ago, so I'm still putting coffee into myself. But yeah, like the prime time is not really in any major region at the moment. I think it's in the middle of the ocean. So yeah, it makes sense that no one is streaming. I just stream right at the start of the morning. If I sleep well that day, I will stream at the end of the day as well. So I stream like usually I stream twice a day, like for 3 to 4 hours, depending on how it goes. And yeah, this is basically, well, this is like 12th stream, and once one of the streams I show the, well, okay, so what the whole project that I'm working on is rewriting this bot in a new way. Like, so I have this configuration bot is the production version, and this configuration bot is the bot that is running this code that I'm currently rewriting or implementing, let's say, because it's not actually rewriting at this point. And the new feature in Discord is buttons. So instead of having to input just having a plain menu like this, now I can actually have buttons with, well, so it will be different in the end. But yeah, so but what I wanted to say is this. And why are you looking for someone working with Python? I can show you this. This is embarrassing, but I show this to everyone, so you know. It is embarrassing, and haven't had a chance to work with the buttons yet, but have been utilizing the new slash commands. Oh yeah, people will keep asking for slash commands, but I just don't want to implement them. I want them to make it work. Like, I don't want to make it too easy for them to set up new bots, because to pick up new things and perhaps learn more. I'm somewhat of a self-student with Python right now and learning as I go. Actually, I have, like, my story is very similar. I was working as enterprise Java developer before, well, like my previous official work was as a Java developer. And I started as a Java developer, and well, like for 5 years or so. So I worked in one place, then I switched. I went and then got employed by IBM as application developer, Java application developer. I worked there for like 3 years, and then I quit because, well, various situations. There's if you're interested, there's a stream dedicated to that, and yeah, it's all the streams are saved on YouTube. So, but yeah, this is the spaghetti code. If you want to see something really nasty, this is what I came up with. So basically, when I got to a situation where I was spending hours each day just setting up bots for people, then I made this. But this was made like as fast as possible. There are no classes. Everything is in one file. Like, the file is thousands lines long. No classes. Like, basically, look at this, how I handle user message. Like, the message from the user. Like, there is a huge if tree which like this code basically I have internal codes and stuff like that to know what kind of menu the user is currently in and so on. Like this is not unmaintainable, unextendable. Like this is terrible. So that's why I want to rewrite it, because what I wanted, like, for example, very common complaint I get from the users. Let's say I go back to the start menu. When I create a new, oh no, actually I don't need to create bot. I need to go back, in cancel. If I go to list bots and I want to extend bots, because this is the monetization method I chose. Well, you can pay for them, but you don't have to. Basically, when you create a bot, it works for a certain amount of days. I think at the beginning it was 3 days, but when the pandemic started, I said, well, okay, I'll change it to 4 days. So, you know, just as a gesture of support for, I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking at that point. I thought it was a nice gesture. So I extended it to 4 days. So after 4 days, you need to create a new one if you want to keep using it for free. Otherwise, you need to extend it, and extension costs a certain amount. So here, when people go to extend, so when you list all of your bots like this, in the list you have an option to extend the bots. So I pick that, and then I can select, well, so basically it goes through the steps. But one thing that's missing here, you can't go back. Like this is one-way process. So you have to go through all the process. So it says, yeah, so all of these bots, like I have 4 bots active. So 4 bots, to activate them, extend them for a week, will cost you 1.4 euros. And minimum amount, because the payments are processed through PayPal, if I would accept transactions of very low amounts, like the majority of the transaction would go to PayPal. So I have a minimum of 5 euros per transaction. So that's why it, well, the menu calculates for you, like the guide calculates for you that you need to extend at least for 4 weeks to reach the minimum payable amount. So let's say I see 6 weeks, then you have to enter your email and so on. Like, well, usually what I get. Why? No. Cancel. At cancel. Dot button. Something like this. And what happens? I get an email with an invoice. Well, basically now it's all integrated with PayPal as well. So I send a message to PayPal. Okay, generate an invoice for this bot with this payment ID. I think I even add the name of the bot. Yeah, the name and the payment ID. The amount of weeks, so it has each line, has how many, like what are you purchasing, what are you paying for, and the email it has to be sent is this. And so I get this copy and I see like people are really, well, they aren't really happy about not having cancel. And when I open this and I need to add a cancel option, like, sorry, I'm not doing that. Like, sorry, I just can't bear myself to maintain this sort of mess. So that's why I decided I need to rewrite it in a like normal way. So so the whole project is currently spread over like number of files. So this main file is the old bot and the new implementation is new bot. So basically this is the main file which initiates, that handles the flow of all the oh, what's a good word? Control flow, I guess. So yeah, it has all the yeah, so this is the Discord bot initialization and so on. I use Hikari libraries. That was a bit of an experience to figure out how to use that. Yeah, and I guess that's at the point I am at. Currently I'm implementing the classes for the menus, trying to figure out what is a good structure for the use case I have. Because certain menus, like there are, well, certain menus just need you to input something in free text, well, your input has to be validated. In case it's wrong, it needs to return something else and ask you for a new input and so on. Understand what you're doing. I've been trying to teach myself the habit of going OOP first, so I don't have to rewrite as much, but since I'm also learning, still it still can be the pain. Yeah, I can definitely understand that. Prevent myself from making good objects. Yeah, actually, the feature I recently learned about is data classes. Like Python has a really cool feature. Well, there is a whole story while learning Hikari, because if you open Hikari code, usually what... okay, let's close this nonsense. This spaghetti code. This is just kept for posterity at this point. I was about to mention data classes that recently came about. Yeah, that is really cool. Where is it? Classes. Yeah, this is... Where is it? It's open? Why is it not? Oh, it's here. I have it currently open, yeah. So this is the data classes I've... well, I'm slowly migrating all... Because this is not actually written recently. I've written... I tried to rewrite... What are you programming? I'm very sorry, I just gone through that, and I don't want to immediately go back and repeat myself after I just finished, but it's in short, it's a bot on Discord, so like this. And if you want to know more detail, you can actually go watch on YouTube and rewind the stream, and I go through the whole thing from how this project came about, why I need to do what I need, and I show some weird examples from the old days. Well, the spaghetti code where this is this project originated at. But yeah, so data classes is really cool, and even not, well, the rewrite actually started like a year ago. I thought, okay, this could be a nice project. I wanna maybe introduce some new bots. I wanna update the menus, make it nicer, introduce like cancel buttons or back buttons where user wanted them. And I just abandoned that project. I just ran out of steam and just forgot about it. And now I'm coming back to it again and trying to, like, with additional knowledge, because I learned more about Python along the way. And yeah, to introduce more object-oriented concepts and so on, to make it like spread it out and make it a proper project. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. And data classes is something I just recently learned about, and before that, what I did, I used these things. Like I used, oh no, current menu I guess is not, well, it is a constant, but what I, see, what's a good example? I just been looking, oh yeah, should be looking at the menu class. Open the right file, I guess that would help. So yeah, so instead of having classes implemented with data classes, I used constants like these. So I put it, like Python is so flexible and makes it so easy to shoot yourself in the foot with like this, and I definitely did that. So that's when I came across the data classes recently, I also found out about attributes, which is Python library actually responsible for data classes being a thing in the standard library right now. Yes, but I got the other way around. I came across ATTRS library, and I couldn't figure out how to read it. Then I went into its documentation, tried to figure it out, and okay, so that was a whole process. I'd recommend taking a look in your free time. You may find that interesting. I found it interesting, but I have a policy of avoiding third-party libraries, because, well, a very good example, very recent and very good example is Log4j. Like, when I was writing Java code, everyone was using Log4j. Like every project I've ever worked on, everyone was using Log4j, and I imagine they are still are. Sounds like the same thing I did. Yeah, but like I understand. I read through ATTRS documentation. Well, not read through all of it, but through like the basic main parts that explain why it's so good and why everyone should be using it and so on, and I just don't agree with it. I just can't bear myself. It pains me that I need to use libraries, third-party libraries at all, but some things like I would use third-party library if I have to, not to make it a little bit more convenient. Because data classes, well, okay, so this will be a little bit of a rant, but I'm really known for ranting a lot. So it's a taste of what's to come, I guess. Data classes like have most of the functionality. It provides most of the functionality you need for daily applications. But ATTRS, what it does on top of it, it provides default behavior, which is very useful when you are creating libraries. And that's a big difference. Like creating a library and creating a working project is two completely different things. And you're programming in different, well, I guess you can program in the same style, but it's different kind of programming. And if you're making a library, all of your classes have to conform to certain standards across the board, and like ATTRS makes it very easy and very convenient to do that. Which data classes, well, even they provide a lot of useful features, like third-party libraries like ATTRS will provide a lot more. But I don't need majority of that. And just because everyone likes them, I'm not gonna use them just because everyone likes them. Like data classes solve all of my problems. I'm not gonna be comparing users, putting them into lists and sorting them, because I don't have a use case for that. Menu context items will be ordered by the, like, they will be listed in order they will be seen. And like there's 4 items in the menu, like, well, okay, maybe 15 items at the moment, like in the largest menu. Like, yeah, when you're creating a new bot, let's say, the whole thing is 15 lines, but actually it will be changed as well. Where is it? Here it is. So yeah, the menu will become like this. So all of the generic options will be changed into buttons, and if there's a list, maybe I will have buttons with the numbers. So instead of writing 1 or 2, I can press a button. It makes it a lot easier on mobile as well. Share the same outlook. Discovering attributes actually reminded me to just simply go back and take a look at data classes and learn how they work. Yeah, data classes are awesome, and like I've read there is an article written by a developer that actually ATTRS on their documentation linked to, and it just praises them to no end that everyone should be using it, and there's no reason why people shouldn't be using it. And like I agree with the sentiment that yes, if you like the library a lot, you will be advertising it a lot, but if you yourself link it to that type of article in your own documentation, like that's, I'm not sure I don't really agree with that. Like, it's a little bit too much self-praise. Like, it's cool what you're doing and people like it, and it is definitely useful. I can see it being useful in writing libraries, but because otherwise you would have to implement a lot of like boilerplate, those what are they called, like these dunder methods. Yeah, so basically built-in functions that, well, I'm sure you know what dunder is. So yeah, so you wouldn't have to implement all the dunder methods. Yeah, ATTRS is awesome, but I don't care about that. Like all the dunder methods, like I need one. Yeah, init is basically the only one. All the rest is my business logic functionality, and well, that needs to be rewritten. Like, well, yeah. So I've been ranting long enough, I guess. My point is clear at this point, hopefully. So yeah, what the project I was talking about actually. I have a couple of regular viewers. Not being a veteran writing Python code, I find myself actually wanting to write these methods outright now, just so I don't take any shortcuts. Yeah, a good example is, where is it? What I was implementing. Oh yeah, configuration. I think it was last stream or stream before. Where is it? Where's my configuration? Yes. Oh yeah, singleton. Yeah, so I have a singleton here, and singleton handles the loading of configuration, including, well, configuration used to be one file, do not show on stream. well, that's how I renamed my configuration files that have actual private keys and tokens and so on. So something that you should keep private. And then it got exploded into logging configuration. Then it has different translations. Well, this is how I support multiple languages. So all of this now is handled by the singleton. And right, so load translations. It is kind of long and verbose, and I'm sure there is a library that supports all of these features, because what I do, I take the file, and basically each menu has its own ID, so it becomes a section in the configuration file, and each label, yeah, so it has a different label. So each menu has its own title, its own description, list title. So basically, it's this menu is, so this is the title, so this is description, this is the list, options list title, and so on. So all of this gets restructured in a more concise, well, more, not really sure, standard way. Because this is what it used to be. It used to be like 11, like this is the magic numbers that I track in the spaghetti code. And it just outputs this sort of magic, not really sure how to call it otherwise. It works, but at what price? Like it's unmaintained, like it's, I like, there is a very good term in programming called technical debt. So this project accrued so much technical debt that I can't really maintain it. I'm sure it's been a learning process. Yes, it definitely is, and I'm still learning. Like I'm by no means like a Python guru or anything. I wouldn't even call myself a Java developer, like a serious Java developer. Like I've worked in industry, in like big companies and small companies with Java code, but I've passed the certifications, read the books by Oracle and so on. Like I am a proper developer in Java terms. Well, at least used to be. At this point, I haven't I haven't been working with Java for like 3 years. So I guess I'm more of a Python developer than Java. But the concepts, I'm aware of of the concepts that are needed, more or less. So yeah, but yeah, I'm still learning, and yeah, like data classes is, even though I read through Python documentation, like this is pretty much like a Bible for Python developers, but I haven't actually considered using data classes myself. Like when I had a use for it, I just didn't remember them. Like there's so much to know that, yeah, I guess that stuff like that happens. It's kind of inevitable. Right, and now I'm trying to understand what was my idea behind these menus. So I have kind of an inheritance here. So I have a menu as a base class for all the general things that I will do with the menu. So what it does, well, initialization assigns initial values. Basic setup is part of the initialization. So it extracts common, yeah, so basic setup saves, well, it has a functionality that will be shared by different menus. So language menu will be, is it calling? It's not even calling. Oh yeah, it just lists the languages. It doesn't even say anything. I think it says select, I don't even know. What is the show method called? I guess it uses the same show method. Oh, okay. But user input has a different initialization, and it calls basic setup. So basic setup was shared, so to do that I extracted into a separate method that will be in the parent class, so it's accessible for all the child classes as well. So yeah, let's see. Get components. Oh yeah, so this is a new method that I will be implementing. This is, well, components are basically buttons. The Discord lingo is that they are called components because it's not only buttons. You can have drop-down menus as well. No, not. I don't remember. I think they have 3 types. Let's see. They have buttons which are here, and I can add action row. Oh, select menu. So I guess there are only 2 types. I can have a drop-down menu, and I can have. Oh yeah, I played around with it before, but I don't really like them, so I'm not sure I'm gonna be using them, unless well, for some features they might be useful. So, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna implement the support for them right now. So yeah, what the goal is to have it easily extendable. So I could, with minimal effort, I could add a new menu or a new bot and forget about it for like another year until I need to change it again. So I did the similar thing with languages now. So Singleton now actually doesn't know how many languages there are. It just knows where languages are kept, and each file is treated as a separate language. File's name is treated as the keyword in the, because here's the database and my user in the database, and the language is denoted by the keyword in the configuration. So when you actually pick a language, it saves as a keyword, and that keyword corresponds with the file name of that language. So now to add a new language, I don't need to change anything. I just need to add a file with a proper name. Let's say if I want to add German, I guess I could use any letter, any name, but most appropriate would be de.txt, and it will automatically be handled and added to the translation pool or label pool, because it becomes basically all of the translations are loaded into one huge dictionary, which on the first level has the name of the file, so basically the language from the database, then section, so then which menu it's from, and key is the actual label that you want to set. So you get a dictionary inside another dictionary that has another dictionary, and that actually has the value. So it basically creates this sort of structure, and it's very like well, it's easy to use and very flexible, I guess, in that way that all I need to do to support new language, open a file, translate it to whatever language I want to have, and save it as a different file, and done. The setting, I guess I haven't really sorted out about the setting of the database. So, well, this is how I can add support, but how I actually add the selection, that's not implemented. Well, most of the menus are not implemented, so I'm kind of catching up to the work that's been done like a year ago at this point. And I guess the menus is the new, like the latest thing and the last thing, pretty much. I only have implemented a couple of menus like BlizzBots menu, language menu. Well, language menu is not even implemented, so it doesn't seem to do anything. It returns language menu. What does it actually, I imagine it crashes. I expect it to crash fully. But if I select languages, yeah, it just does nothing. Oh yeah, it crashes. I guess that's well, it's in the it's old code with a lot of changes I already did. So I imagine something. Well, I would expect something not to work. All right. But yeah. Well, in that case, if you're just looking to learn more about Python, I guess it could be beneficial to you as well if you want to show or just practice, I guess, if you're new. I'm not sure, would you be interested in something like working on a collaborative project? Like, for example, well, not for example, what I did what I'm planning to do over the next week, I will create a GitHub repository for a project and showcase how to use it, how to access, how to commit code, how to pull the code to your local repository, and so on. And then, well, we need to decide also on the project we want to run. Like my initial suggestion is making a VPN client with like crypto features. Like, well, you know, cryptocurrencies are kind of new technology that's it is a buzzword as well. Like if you involve crypto, then you know your project will be more appealing to the broader community, I guess. So the idea would be to have a VPN where if you want to participate in it as in provide you like an open VPN concept where users provide the VPN for themselves. They provide a tunnel to another, well, basically the use case we would be covering, or the main use case would be if you want to avoid region locked content. So you want to, or you don't want to be, well, also you will be hiding your activity from your ISP, which is also another major use case. So those are like the two main use cases where you would want to use a VPN like this, and both are quite valid use cases in my opinion. So my implementation, the idea currently, it's only idea. I don't really know about implementation. I don't even know what kind of language we would be using. I would like to use Python, but I'm not sure if it's actually doable in Python. But the idea is, when you're participating, you can provide your bandwidth as an exit node for a VPN service, and when you service traffic, you would generate yourself a tokens, well, certain tokens, and people who want to use the VPN will have to pay the tokens to be able to use the network as a VPN. And so you have like a way for people to earn, like to be paid for providing the service, and people would be paying for the service as well at the same time. And I'm not sure, like I would like to involve cryptocurrencies in if well, there are two options: either incorporate an existing cryptocurrency into the payment and reward method, or create a completely new cryptocurrency and use that, like incorporate it somehow like into servicing traffic, into generating cryptocurrencies as well. Well, this is the idea I have, and this is the project I'm pitching for currently. I'm I'm not saying that this is the project we will be working on for certain. It's just an initial idea I had, and no one so far came up with anything more appealing. So for now it's this, but I also have a Discord, and well, I have a couple of Discords. One of the Discords is just for my bots, well, where there's well, currently 600 people online, but it has like 3,600 users, and this Discord is just for the users of the bots. So, and the other Discord I have is the community one I recently created because people on the stream said that I should, well, I guess. and it makes sense if I want to coordinate a project that I will be collaborating with my viewers. It makes sense to have a dedicated place where I can make announcements, like, well, for example, because I'm not really certain about my streaming schedule. This is where I announce when will the next stream will be, because at the end of the stream I usually know what I will do on the next stream and when it's gonna happen. Also, this ideas discussion, like we have a couple of channels set up so far, not many, but yeah, this is where the discussion about the project would be, a coordination, what needs to be done, and so on. Like, if you're interested in something like that, or would be interested in something like that, it's out there. It's at the very at the very beginning, so I don't really have much to show or much else to say. It's currently all our ideas, and as I said, over the next week I will create the actual GitHub repository, and after that certain amount of streams will be dedicated into making, well, dedicated for researching the actual mechanics of the project we will be working on. For example, if it will be a VPN, then I will be doing research. Well, I understand how it works, or like understand its concepts. I have a reasonable understanding of networks. I also run my own servers, so all of the bots I provide for my users are running on my own server, as well as my Git repositories there for the source control, a bunch of other things. I showcase it at some point, like, well, I've already showcased the whole thing, so I don't really, it's quite extensive. Like, I use Proxmox as a server operating system on a dedicated machine which is connected to the UPS and has dual network connections and so on. Like, it's I have a reasonable understanding of other things than programming, so I think I could reasonably design or maybe if even with some help, because, well, sometimes you get people who are very knowledgeable on streams that come along and want to check out what's going on here. So yes, so some of the streams would be making research, like going back to like the concepts, how VPN works, then maybe looking into some implementations, how it's being implemented right now, then slowly start designing the application itself. Then when I get to a level where we have individual classes we need to implement a certain functionality and so on, then we can start actually contributing code, and yeah, hopefully, and after that, then we can start reviewing the code, making changes, or and so on. So in the end, if it, I definitely at least be a viewer for such a project on stream. Hey, thank you for the follow. Yeah, I think it is a cool idea. My viewers actually liked it. Everyone whom I explained it, everyone really thought that this is a cool and interesting idea. Because I haven't done research, so I don't know if other people are doing some stuff like that. But I thought, like, this is because just showing myself writing code on stream, like, I guess it is interesting, but it would be a lot more interesting if you can actually do something more to interact with your viewers. And if you're streaming programming, chances are that your viewers are interested in programming themselves. So why not combine those things? So that's how I came about this idea. So, but I have no idea if anyone, I'm sure someone is doing this already, but you know, I don't have time to research that, because I have games to play, I have code to write, I have streams to make, so it doesn't leave much time in between to go research what other streamers are doing. I had some other point I wanted to say, but forget about it. Well, right. Well, okay, so I think that's it for now. So getting back to the code I'm writing on hand. So I figured out, okay, user input menu, like this is what I was, okay, so this is clear how it works. And language, okay, I haven't looked into the language menu. Oh yeah, this is the language menu. Okay, it doesn't really have all that much. So it calls the same initialization. And this doesn't, oh yeah, it has a different initialization, okay. So when you're handling user input, you don't really need all that much. You need just basic setup, so the basic part. And the language menu shares the whole initialization, okay. Get item list from ID list. So menu ID, menu items, so language menu. Where is this called? Is this even used anywhere? Oh, it's used here. Oh no, this is a different definition. So this is in the menu class. It used to be in the menu class, and now it's only in the list languages menu. What it does, it has an iterate index from 0, reach menu item. Oh, I think I know what this is supposed to be. This is supposed to, when you get a list of menus without IDs, well, to actually assign a number in the menu. So this is the part of the code that assigns the numbers to the menu items. Yeah. List from ID list. Item list from ID list. Why and how it's done on the general menu? Because all of this is commented out. Oh, right, I'm dumb. So when in general menu you already provide it in the context. So it has both the key that will be used to select the menu and the menu ID. And in languages I try to write it in a way where I don't know how many languages I will support. So yeah, that's why it has to generate it separately. This sounds like something I should be implementing for all the menus. Yeah, that doesn't sound like it should be exclusive to a language menu. But yeah, what it does, it takes all the menu items as a dictionary. Oh, it creates a dictionary. Okay, on menu items is... It's not clear. Oh, it's... What? Menu item ID? This is not right. So it takes an item. Labels. Singleton labels. Yeah, this all won't work. Well, I guess well, it's no wonder it crashes. Yeah, so this isn't. Yeah, I don't think this is even salvageable. Yeah, this will have to be done differently. Okay, let's just have it commented out so it doesn't bother me. Oh, yeah, I'm dumb. It's not even called in any capacity. So it used to be like that, and then yeah, okay, just have trash code left over, like So when it handles input, what it does, takes the text. Yeah, if the text is in the menu item keys, yeah, item selected, it's taken out of the menu items. Yeah, item selected, and then oh, it gets assigned to the user language. Right. Okay, that makes sense. But the user is actually now a data class, not just a floating variable. And I don't even know the global context. At least that's how it used to be. Let's see. So I'm pretty sure user is an object now. Yeah, it's a user object. And its language, yeah, it's a string. So the power of data classes are so awesome. I can just do this, and there are no dictionaries and lists and stuff like that. And that's that solves that thing. Yeah, it has the same object, and then it returns the start menu for that user. Yeah, so start menu just returns this initial menu with this sort of context. Right, so how does it actually list? So this handles on, oh, show is the method that is used to actually, so when you select an item in the menu, like menus in the item are other menus. So when you select it to show the menu, well, it calls menu the show on that menu, And to handle input in that menu, it calls handle input on that menu. So those are two basic methods that are used by all the menus. And that's how like the flow will be, well, is transferred now from one menu to another. So show, okay, message text is the actual message that it's, okay, it is being constructed. So it checks label fields. Label fields are, don't even know what's, okay, well, label fields, it doesn't really give me much. Like, that's why you shouldn't be using dictionaries like this. Horrible. So it gets the translation for item label fields. Like this is all used in plural, so it makes you think that there are multiple. No, it actually is multiple. It gets exploded into a bunch of variables. Oh, it's just a format. Oh, okay, so that makes sense. So I get a translation, and some translations. Where's the language? And certain labels, certain menus, so certain have a multiple places, multiple spots that some data has to be, like some dynamic data will be inserted. So when you're configuring a Killbot, well, I guess since it's surrounded by stars, all of the user inputted data will be highlighted. For example, name, alliance. Well, this is not the test version, this is the production version. But it works the same way. So if I enter the name, the configuration name is set, so set an alliance, it's PoE, it's one of the biggest alliances, and that's how it knows, so that's how this sort of message is created. So this is how it's done. So it checks if there are fields to be filled, and in that case it adds a format to the translation. And I don't like doing like this. This doesn't look right because it's doing the same thing twice. So how I would how I would improve on this is make this extract it outside, so it gets the translation, because it does it anyways in either case, so it doesn't have else. And now all it does is calls format in case there's something to format. And like this seems, well, it does the same thing, but I got rid of a couple of lines and make it a lot more simple. Right. So now it gets the translation, and if there are fields that need to be filled in, it takes those fields from the context. So this is the menu context, and I'm implementing that data class now. So all of these variables have to be moved to menu context. Label fields, imagine this is a list. I need to remember how this explosion of variables work. I guess it should be just a list. Imagine. Let's go to the documentation. Oh, I don't even know how to find this. Well, if I search this, what will I get? Not much. So functions, I guess it's in general somewhere about functions. Let's find all the functions in the in Python, which not really what I'm looking for. I'm looking for language reference, I think. Function definitions, I think this is what I'm looking for. And I'm looking for parameters. Oh yeah, this is what I'm looking for. Annotations. Expressions following any parameter may have annotation. Even those, yeah, this is a cool concept. Haven't seen this done before Python this way at least. Annotation. Oh, it doesn't really say. Doesn't explain how these work. Doesn't seem to have a link. Nation, lambdas, naming and binding. As definitions. Okay, so I guess this is all for functions. Yeah, args and kubargs. Well, yeah, that's what I'm referring to. But I think they work in a little bit different way. I just want to double check that I understand them correctly. I think so. Args has to be a list, if I remember correctly, and what it does, it basically explodes the list. Single quote is for positional arguments and double quote, yeah, is for keywords. Yeah, so how it actually implements that, args is a list of parameters that you want to pass. So it just adds them as, well, positional. So the first goes to the first spot and so on. That's how I actually map them myself. And the keywords, the keyword arguments are implemented through a dictionary. So you explode a dictionary, and key is basically the well, the name of the variable, and its value will be the value that's passed on to a function. So yeah, for format, where is it? Translation. So yeah, the star means like it expects item fields to be, yeah, so it's done this way in a couple of places. Because I'm implementing this, I want to move it into the data class. I want to be sure that it is a list. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter. Well, I don't have to find it in the documentation, the exact line that explains all of this, but I'm 95% sure that I'm right. So I'll just go with it, and if it, in the case, in case it crashes, then I guess I'll know that I was wrong. Menu item fields. Maybe a more descriptive name would help as well. Making typos would also be preferable. Item fields. Oh, this is fields, and wouldn't it be values at this point? I could also use it as a dictionary, as you said, to not rely on the right positioning or the right order. I guess I'll make it as a list for now, because that's how it was done previously. And if I find it dissatisfactory in some way, not good enough, then I guess I can change it to use a dictionary and use 2 stars, like to explode the dictionary. Make the arguments like named arguments, not positional. Right. So this is okay. Menu item. This is not actually menu item. Well, it is menu item. Oh, I guess it's used as menu item fields. Right. Oh, these are menu item fields, item label fields. I guess that's pretty much accurate. I can't think of a better way to name this. Oh, yeah. What? It has menu item label fields and the keyword is menu item fields. I think that's wrong. Okay, menu item label. Guess this is descriptive enough. Should be able. Okay, let's add a comment just in case. I will forget what it's supposed to do. Right. So these are values inserted into translated label. Yeah, I think that's, yeah, should be clear enough. Hopefully. No. My memory is terrible. Well, I guess the comments are there to save me. That's why I have so many of them. I have so many I barely read them. Well, I don't have that many, but yeah, I've definitely seen code with more. But all of these inputs, like all of these log outputs, I consider them comments pretty much as well. But at least I write them in a way where they describe the current state and function that was expected. Right, so now instead of validation, also failure method, I guess I need to, well, okay, let's extract label fields first. So context, I think is menu context. Oh, okay. Oh, this is not the, okay, menu context. Yeah, it is an instance of menu context. So now, like this is each time I will use data class, like this is what you actually need from a data class. That's why it's completely serviceable to use data class, and you don't need ATTRS, because what you actually want is to have a suggestion, to have all the values listed, and so you have no way of making mistakes or typos or anything. So menu item labels, yeah. So if label fields, oh, so the check now is different. Menu. This is even not correct. Label fields. How would this work? Did I delete something? No. Didn't remove anything special. Yeah, it checks one value and then uses another one. Yeah, this is just... Oh. Okay. How do I check if it's actually set now? Can I assign a default value? Oh. None. Maybe this, well, hopefully this works, then I can just check if it's not none. Then I know it has values. Because now it gets a translation and, well, yeah, this part is clear. So if context field values, oh, field values. Okay, well, I'm all of these sound so similar now, like the menu item labels and field values. Well, I can see them being used almost interchangeably. I don't have like a good what would you say, not practice, but methodology for naming that is consistent, at least. So that's why I think those can be interchangeable, like this field value and menu item labels. Yeah, I can easily confuse myself. I can definitely see myself being confused which one is which. Okay, menu item labels if it's not none. I think this is how you check for none condition. I think this is how you check it on Java as well. I might be using Java syntax here, but right. I guess we can just check if it actually works. So user input menu. Do I have a user input menu implemented? I should have. Let's see, languages menu, UBot menu. That sounds like it. Oh, it only lists cancel option. Don't think you need the is before not. Oh yeah, that is true. Not none. So, oh. Yeah, I know this is how you check for if it's none in Java. I thought it's either not equal equal. So it's, oh. Yeah, this is where I actually check. I check it for, I guess I just rewrote all of this. So yeah, previously it was like this. So I thought maybe it just needs none, not at the beginning of the comparison. Yeah, you're probably right. Menu path. Okay. Not none. I think that. Yes, you're right. Yeah, I guess. Knowing multiple languages. Okay, so now it doesn't like this. So, should I go and just read the documentation? How to do comparison? Let's see, logical comparison. Actually, be comparisons. Let's do the comparison. It will have a. Yeah, is not. Yeah. Actually is needed. So I actually was right. So is not optional. Not is optional. Yeah. I guess we're both learning. Like I can't fault you for the. Yeah, I was thinking about that as well. You know, it's all good. It's fine. Right. But I like this way because it actually you can read out and it makes sense, like in phonetical, like in not phonetical, just normal language sense, not just in programming sense. Well, programmatically it doesn't really make sense because programmatically you would want it like it should be well, I think, well, at least in Java the exclamation mark means inversion of the logical operation. So in Java it would be like this. So is none. I think that's how you would do it, or you would have it like this. So not equal none. So this is what it would be in programming, and this is more like a spoken language. So and so is not none. Is not something else. Yeah. Right. So this is okay, so this is good. So we make a breakpoint. Yeah, except this is not used anywhere. And where do I actually create these menu items? Because I had a piece of code. Where was it? I removed it. Yeah, I guess I did remove it because it wasn't used anywhere. Well, the menu code, the menu I'm referring, like the piece of code I'm referring to, that actually assigns numbers to each item in the menu. So the question I have now, how does this code actually knows? Let's say, does it have, okay, let's make him list configurations. Oh yeah, it has a list. It doesn't, well, so this is the default behavior if it doesn't find a translation. So it just returns the same label you were requesting, but as a strike through to indicate that this wasn't found in the translations and fallbacks and all the other good stuff. But it does have list menus implemented, and it has a way to know how many items there are in the list. List bots menu. Oh yeah, well, it does have it. Oh, nice. Welcome back, Nice Hunter. I actually created a Discord if you want to join. I will be making announcements about the project there. So currently I think only Risk is there. You can find it in my description, in my profile. Right, so instead of having it implemented in a generic way, so I just make it myself. So I construct it, I have a, for each item I want to add. Not sure that's a good approach. Maybe I want to have this functionality implemented in the main class. So instead of initiating it with a dictionary that already has all the menu items, I guess you can do it both ways, but if it's something you will have to do in each menu, might as well have it in the class. What do you mean in description? On Discord you have your YouTube and Twitch link, and here I don't see it. You don't see it on Twitch in my Twitch page? Not the stream description, in my Twitch profile, whatever thing, where you can link. I'm blind actually. Oh, you found it, I assume. Okay. Yeah. So you want? Okay, that's good. I will be making announcements there, so keep an eye on that. Well, also I will be posting when the next stream will be and the theme of the next stream. Because today I'm working on the menu class implementation. Well, and it's child classes, I guess. But yeah, I don't really like this sort of thing, because in each menu I will have to manually add these. Let's see. Oh, and I think it's missing something. It just has name and list. Yeah, it has to have a way to add the general buttons, like cancel, back, maybe back. Back is an odd thing to implement. But it is possible. But not everywhere. So it has to be an option. Right. So to change the behavior, yeah, this is just mappings. Right. So initialization has to be changed. Basic setup, I think it just gets translations. Oh no, it just assigns appropriate values. The fields. Context. Okay, menu items. Menu items. Okay, those are the IDs, and it is the dictionary at the moment. For this to work, well, in the end, it will have to be a dictionary. I guess I can make it into a list and create a dictionary where it maps the other way around. So wait, does it make sense? Yeah, well, I feel like I'm overthinking this at this point. Maybe it's fine and leave each menu to construct a dictionary in their own way. Not really sure what's the best approach. I don't want to change it just to make it different. I want to improve it. I'm not sure if that's gonna be an improvement, because now, okay, I have a list of item IDs. I guess I can just make it into a dictionary like this myself. But is it? I guess each menu has it done the same way. So basically the same way how the language menu does it. So what it takes, get option. Well, it's not even called here. Like I have this function. Oh no, it does get called when you call show method, and the show method is not overwritten here. Oh, okay. Okay, I'm actually blind as well. So it does get called, and what it does, it goes through the items and it inserts the keys. Okay. Right. So when you initialize menu items, the dictionary, and like all of these variables will be so similar. I don't really like that. But what I want to do is to have menu item list, something like this. So this is what actually gets passed along to the constructor. So yeah, this gets assigned the menu items list, and instead of a dictionary, I just have a list of values. So this is tuple. Right, like this, without keys. Bots on YouTube are active. Oh, not the wrong button. Oh, don't want to update anything. On chat, block. So it wouldn't be here because it is a scam site. Don't go there. Don't use that URL. Someone did, and yeah. Cold coffee. So yeah, someone did. Don't do that. Right. Context, and is it complaining about something? Oh yeah, menu item. So the constructor looks like this. Right. And now get options list. So instead of operating on, okay, this will have to be rewritten, because now, well, I guess just the initial part will have to be changed. So it does pretty much the same thing as here. Wait, it does the same thing. Treats it as a dictionary. Wait, where does it actually assign the IDs? Sure, this makes sense. So it handles input. So this is just a selects a value, okay. For each key, menu item items. This looks wrong. Menu items is currently not declared, so one of those magic variables I used to use. Yeah, this is okay. This is just wrong in my opinion. Oh, here. So what I wanted to do is to go through the list. First of all, I guess I can assign that list. Oh no, it assigns the whole context. So I have for self context, and I have field values. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Menu items list. Now for item in menu items list, so you get a list. I guess I have to have an iterator. That gets increased by 1 with each cycle, and what it does I don't think it would be an issue if it had an empty dictionary. Created by default. That would be fine. Hopefully. Hopefully it won't lead to memory issues or something like that. It's something to keep an eye on. Because now each instance will have a default value like this. At least that's how I think it works. I'm not actually sure. I just hope that's how it works. Okay, I guess I'll see soon enough. And what actually it does, it adds to the self context and then menu item, menu items, and not get. It's a default, no. Add. What's the name of the put? And doesn't it have a method to extend it? So I guess I'll just do it like this. Right? Oh. I use the index of I, string representation of I, because it has to be a string, because for the comparison to work in the future. Well, I will have to do the conversion at some point, so might as well do it now. I guess it's not memory efficient or memory conscious to do it right off the bat, but you know, I'm kind of okay with this, at least for now. I guess a lots of memory issues might combine eventually and become a larger issue, but I don't know. Let's try not thinking about it right now. So menu input string. Well, I guess if it will be an issue, we will see. It will be a demonstration what not to do. Oh yeah. So this gets assigned an item. So now I'll have the dictionary. So I will make the dictionary myself, but I make the initialization of the menu a little bit simpler because I don't really need to construct the choices like these numbers myself. It will be different for buttons, so I guess I'll have a different context for buttons. So the items, so list will be, this is for used for initialization, used for initialization. Actually, why do I have menu items here as a dictionary? That's dumb. Well, it is menus context, but not each menu. Yeah, I should extract it here. Like this. And menu instance has its own menu items. Yeah. Makes so much more sense. At least in my head. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay. I guess I can change it back if we need it. What's up with these bots? Reply to the block list. Easy. Solved. Yeah, hopefully this works as I expect. Handle input. Get menu items. Here it is. So each item gets the menu items of the menu itself, which is much more sensible. Text options list. Yeah, I guess when I handle input I use the same thing. Yeah, that's, well, it's like a temporary dictionary. It won't really be needed for long, just until the user selects an option. Right, so for key menu items in context, items. So what do I actually do here? Well, this part I guess gets the translations, and it still has the same thing where it does the assignment twice. Let's have this instead be assigned to the item. Yeah, item. Here. Oh, actually, that reminds me. Oh, this is actually done correctly. Okay. So message tag gets reassigned back to itself. because since strings are immutable, meaning that they can't be changed, like to make a change to a string, it will make a new string. You can't just make changes to this. You need to assign it back to, well, you need to, it will return a new string, not the, it won't modify the same string, it will return a new string. So that's why it needs to be assigned. Then, well, this, well, yeah, this works the same way. So it assigns and returns a value. So in case it has something to be inserted, menu item labels, okay. So list. But each menu item can have okay, let's not get ahead of myself. That is the wrong method I'm looking at. Maybe it's not. Yeah, handle input. Options list. Yeah, that is the correct menu. Okay, I'm done. This is I'm not really sure about. What's the purpose of this? So menu items, you get menu items from a dictionary, it seems. So items. Okay, so you need both key and value. Well, I guess you need key to actually have it as a number. So I make it bold with my helper class. I don't really like how I construct strings here, but it is what it is. Actually, that's a really bad idea. Is it possible to break this somehow? I'm kind of tempted to do this, to try this. Let's see, guild mentions. So guilds, set guilds to monitor. See? Oh, forgot about me. Okay, create new bot. And set guilds to be monitored, okay. And let's add a bunch of special characters. Okay, it worked. I was expecting this to crash if it constructs a string like this, but actually it doesn't. Yeah, it uses format. Format sanitizes the inputs, yeah. Okay, so if you're constructing a string, you need to be doing it like this instead of adding plus and so on. Like, this is not a good way to do it. But I guess I do that whenever I have a dynamic like a value from user input. Yeah, I guess it doesn't break it. Okay, I'm gonna I'm happy about that. Right, let's get back to this. So now I think this is a dictionary method. Let's go check quick. Home. Standard library. Built-in types. See data structures. Data types. Array. Don't see a dictionary. Oh, mapping types. Dictionary. Where is the last length? Items. I'm looking for items. Items returns a new view of the dictionary's items. Key value pairs. Okay. So it is a dictionary method that returns both key and items, so in pairs. So when I need both key and the value. Right. Now it's not accessed like this, it's... Wait, it's not actually even in the context, it's now menu items here, and they call items. So iterate through that. Get translation, so we get the label. Right, if label fields. Okay, where do I save labels now? Oh, well, the fields. Menu item labels. Yeah, I guess it has to be in the context. It's just a list. I guess it's okay. Yeah. I am confused a little bit at this point. It looks for the key. So it looks for the key is the number. Yeah. I guess, yeah, it has to be a dictionary after all. But the dictionary doesn't, it's not for the keys. Oh, it can have multiple instances of the same menu, right? Yeah. This is dumb. I kinda need to have initialization with already known values, with known IDs. I can't just assign them myself. I can do that when the menu doesn't have any values, like to be filled in any of the menus. Because then, yeah, it is simple, like you have a list and you just add the number. But when you have actual values to be inserted in specific items, like I need a way to map them. And I can't map them by item ID because some menus have multiple items or for the same menu, like configuration bots. Like you can have multiple instances of the same bot. So if you try to map by the menu ID, yeah, it would have multiple instances of that. So I guess I just can't do this. I have to do it like it's been done. So that's fun. Yeah, this menu items dictionary is actually going back here and replacing menu items list, because that's the only way I can actually reasonably do this in a generic way. A little bit sad. I thought I was being clever, proving my old implementation. How it affects this. So it will be in the context and menu items. It didn't update yet. Items. So all the instances of where I access menu items, yeah, I will need to update it. Not really a big issue. Context. So yeah, this will be saved in the context after all. Well, I guess I don't have to save it in the context, but since I'm passing it as a variable already, makes sense. Okay. So yeah, this doesn't make sense anymore. Menu items already has all of this. So this is deleted. So self context, menu items, items. And if, yeah, this is, I get the translation with, yeah, this is a fixed label. I guess I can extract this into a constant because it actually, well, I don't really like the seeing strings in code itself, the functions. Let's see, constant for name in list. I just use camel case. Name in list. And the value is name in list, yeah, this. I think I left it here just because I didn't list. Right. Doesn't find it. Okay, how it works now. Right, so it gets translation, looks for name in list, the list net menu in the list of another menu. Right. And menu item ID is as a section. Okay, so now that's how it will go to the appropriate section by the name. Well, this is the menu ID, and then it will look list and title. This is what will be actually, no, not list, name list, name in list. Yeah, name and list. Yeah, I'm done. Blind. Yeah, rewriting code is a lot more challenging just writing it than, well, it's maybe not that it's a lot more challenging, it's a lot more time consuming. Yeah, and more painful, because you end up having to undo things because you didn't realize everything right off the bat. I guess this is on me for lack of planning, but yeah. See, get translation, yeah, gets translation, then it checks if okay, this is a constant, so menu item labels, this has to be a dictionary as well. Can't see this being a list. Well, it will be a dictionary of lists. That is true, because it will be, if it does have one, it will have to be a list that lists all the things, because each menu, each choice might have multiple things to be inserted. So this has to be a dictionary. For sure. Yeah, and since in advance I know which menu item will have what ID, I know which menu item labels will go where. Okay. Right. I think that's correct. So now I'm checking if context menu item labels is not none, and the actual selection is in the dictionary as a key. Menu. Right. So if this actually has something assigned and the selection is there. Oh, so yeah. So there are, well, so this is in case one menu, because you can have a dictionary, but you can have some menus that don't have anything to be inserted. For example, what would be a good example? I'm not really sure. I think like when you list bots, yeah. So these first 4 rows need to have like test kill bot, the expiration date, ID, name. All of these are values that have to be assigned, but like the rest of the buttons, like the rest of the functionality doesn't have anything to be inserted. So it's in those cases, even though these will be changed into buttons now, I still want to have a flexibility of having a mix of different type of entries the list. So this will preserve that, even though I won't use it, at least for now. I'm sure eventually it will be useful. Yeah, it doesn't require extra effort. Right, so this formats, and instead of this context, menu item labels. Yeah, it explodes it, takes the key. Yeah, this looks good. Test helper. Makes it bold and it adds to the list. Yeah, so menu list, and that's what actually gets returned. Okay. So the generic way to get a generic menu is kind of sorted. Yes. Now just to make it work. Easy. Always the easy part, right? I wonder if what... Okay, let's look at the at the crash right off the bat. Okay, class dictionary field menu items is not allowed. Use default factory. Wait. Where is it? Data classes? Oh. I guess this is not the correct way. I can't really assign it the value, initial value like this. So yeah, this is init. Oh, so the default implementation of init doesn't let you do that. Yeah, this is from the imports. Yeah, so... Ah. I guess it doesn't really matter. It's something I have to create myself. And yeah. Set to none if not needed. I guess this is one of the features. I guess I didn't read about dictionaries, data classes all that much. Maybe there is a way to provide the default value. I thought this could be a nice way to provide the default value, but apparently that's not the case. Okay, let's look at the let's leave none assigned. Maybe this works. Maybe it just doesn't like how I use initialize a dictionary. None. Let's see if it's gonna complain again. But about the labels? Oh, it doesn't. Wait. So it doesn't like if I do this, which initializes new dictionary, but it still lets me assign a value. Mutable object. I think maybe I can't use mutable objects? Menu items. Will this ever be not... Yeah, I guess I will initialize it anyways. Doesn't really have to have a default. Oh, it had to have default when... Well, it had to be initialized when it was in the menu, so I guess when I copy-pasted it. Okay, so it's not even an issue. Okay. Okay, at least everything loaded. Let's see if... Okay, now it crashes. Get start menu. Missing one required argument, user. It? Seems like it is there. Oh, is it a type error? Since when does it check the type? Wait. Oh, it has... Okay, it thinks it's messages. Okay. Why do I have messages here? That's another question. Why do I need messages? I don't need. Because messages is in the singletons. Labels. Well, it's not messages anymore, it's labels because it's actually labels. Okay. Run again. Thing. User context. User context. User context is a different thing. I haven't moved that into data classes. Right. So this is called when it handles your initial input and you don't have, well, it doesn't remember you, or like it's your first interaction. So yeah, it passes along the user, which is fine. And to initialize, takes along a menu ID, a user, labels, which are called messages here, and context, which is done. What? Oh, this is okay. Well, it's not an instance method. It's just a normal method outside the class or function. I mean, not method. This is the context. Oh, not how I'm supposed to. Yeah. Oh. Need to try and do this. Right. Because this is where it should initialize menu context. So context is basically this data class. Yeah. So menu context, and I have to pass along all of these variables. So menu items is a dictionary, which is equal to this. And I don't really have any field values. Don't even know what field values are supposed to be. 8 item labels. Oh, it's the parameters that will need to be passed along if you select this option. Okay, so why is it a list? Shouldn't it be a dictionary as well for each menu? Well, in any case, it's none. So field values. We should it listed them here. It's none. Yeah, because I didn't item. Menu item labels? No, this is a constant. This is menu item labels, but not that kind of. And here you just pass along context. I'm pretty sure I've done this before. Oh well. Somehow I don't feel like I fixed anything. Well, it crashed a little bit different. It actually returned everything, so I guess that was a problem. But there's something not right. Missing one required positional element user. How is it missing it? It has one variable user and it returns a menu. Oh, it doesn't return a menu. Oh, returns it, yeah. What? Feels like it's a little bit lost. So this get start menu. Yeah, this will have to, this nonsense of this user context, user being in user's context will have to be changed. But not at the moment. What is missing a user? Type error. So I don't get a user from user context here. Oh yeah, I guess that makes sense. Okay, when I handle, I guess I need to go to the right, to the source. So user context, get user data. I think I changed this so user actually gets get user from the database. Yeah, this initialize a user from the data class, assigns all the values and returns it. So db user gets assigned to the context user. This, oh, there is a constant, so yeah, this is back to the dictionary magic. But in any case, it returns it, so it is a database user assigned to the user dictionary entry. And here okay, it passes along the context, and context it passes along this user. I guess at this point the user is not set for some reason. This is way more complicated than it should be. Feels like it. Let's see. User context is a dictionary, and it doesn't have. Oh, it does have the user. Menu constant user. Okay. And it has the right label. Okay, well, let's dive into it, I guess. What was it? Step into, step over, step into is F5. Okay, F5. Okay, it has the user. F5. Okay, it only needs a user. What? Oh, okay. How it works when one method is split into, well, one line split into multiple lines. Right. Okay, let's step into this. Oh, what? At what point the actual exception happens? Like all the code has, so there is no actual exception. Oh, that's wrong. Discard. Yeah, and it returns everything. What? Right. So the first menu works fine. Because it doesn't really, oh, so the first menu is very simple. That's why I just initialize in a generic way, because it doesn't really have any functionality associated with it. It's just a list of initial things you can choose from. But all the rest menus, all other menus are a little bit more involved. Yeah, because they have an actual purpose. Oh, this one has a purpose as well, but like an introduction, a starting point. And that works fine. Let's see, okay, let's terminate this. I guess the next step is implementing the language menu, seeing how this should be done. Right. So when it gets initialized, oh yeah, menu item IDs. Oh yeah, since it is initialized in a different way, just because. Okay, let's see the mappings. Because the mappings is the key now. Like this is what gets explains the flow of from one menu to another. So new bot menu can create a bot. All right. Language. Oh, so new bot menu. No, this is language selection. So this is a menu ID. Okay. Even here, I'm not sure if this is the right way to use it. Can I have like a static data class? Something like this. That would be, I think, something that would be useful here, because I just assign initial values to it and just keep using it instead of having to declare a bunch of constants, strings. Let's see. Let's go take a look at data classes. I'm pretty sure that should be possible. Like, I don't see why it wouldn't. Data classes. It should be different types. Multi-level decorator. Oh, it has a bunch of... So even... Okay, so this provides a way to have a default behavior. Okay. Oh, I didn't turn on heating. I'm sorry. I was wondering why it's getting so cold. Turns out I forgot to turn on heating. You know what, actually I will do that real quick. Be right back. Okay, heating is on. Should start feeling a little warmer soon. Right. Data classes field describes each defined field. Okay, fields. A tuple. Base. The class. Post initialization. Not only variables. Okay, this is seems to have quite a lot of functionality. Wait, what's the name? The data structure I'm looking for has a name. I think it's called... No, it's not serialization. Damn it. Like not sleeping properly for multiple days in a row, that does to you. Does things to your brain. Classifiers, right, that's what I'm looking for. Declaring a classifier. Data, writing a setup script. Okay, I guess that's not really the term used. Right. Well, it works pretty much the same way as constants, but instead of having them declared wherever, I just have a class dedicated for that. Does this actually make sense? Yeah, because I want it to be imported in all the classes, in all the menus, I mean. But if I declare them here, well, accessing them will be, well, you can access them, but it is a little bit janky and I don't have a convenient way, like the autocomplete will not find them for me. So I would like to have that. Let's see. I guess in the classes function I can define a new class. Let's see, how do you actually define static classes? If I remember correctly, static. I guess I should go and read about classes. class, I guess. That's what I'm actually looking for. Classes, yes, this one. Can take a look here. Class definition, instance, method, multiple inheritance. Huh. Don't really see static classes. Okay, let's search it in the... Okay, all those scopes are determined statically. Okay. Okay. Okay, it is not really used in the way I expect. Maybe static classes is not a thing in Python? Because it's supposed to be like a class you define, you don't initialize it, you just use it with static values. I guess, okay, let's try doing, let's experiment with this. Because my working theory at the moment is that all classes are static at the moment, well, by default. If you don't initialize them, you have access to its variables if they have values, I think. Because when it reads through the code, it actually, well, does whatever it says in each line. Pretty much. Hopefully I'm right. Well, okay, we'll see. It won't take long to actually figure it out. Firstly, let's get back to Python perspective, create a new file, and this will be menus. Oh, how should I call this? Classifier? Yeah. I don't even know how to spell this word properly. I will need Google for this. Classifiers. Classifiers. Python. Let's see. That actually, maybe I'm just blind and can't find it. I'm looking for the link to official documentation. I don't really want to go and copy solutions from Stack Overflow because it's even worse than using third-party libraries, in my opinion. Even though using third-party libraries is like understandable, in certain cases it's rarely understandable going to Stack Overflow. Yeah. Actually, it's a Python file. Py. So here I declare a class. Copy paste the declaration because it's sent. Oh, okay. To open it in a text editor. Okay. So I have menus. And all of the constants from the menu. A menu. Does the start menu have its own? Yeah, it does. Start menu. We have start menu string. Equal to this. So here how it will work if from classes I import. Actually, it won't work like this. So from classifiers, spelled it wrong. Whatever. Oh yeah, I guess it is in classes, classifiers, import menus. Maybe I should name it as menu so it indicates that it is a static class. So it's not supposed to be initialized. And in theory, this start menu should actually get the value. Okay, well, that's it. See if this actually runs. If it doesn't run, then yeah, I messed something up. Like, it's not how it works. Okay, no complaints on the import, so always nice. And it returned everything, so yeah, that's how it actually works. So this is, by default, it's a static class. It doesn't really need anything extra. So meaning that you can actually access the values without making an instance of the class. So yeah, really cool. Not sure why I didn't do this earlier. So, oh yeah, names and list, that's not actually a menu. You want like these, this is what I want to have here, so I wouldn't have this, no. As few strings as possible. Right. And this, I'm sure there's a clever way to iterate through, like have a should I do it like this? Yeah, okay, well, I guess I will do have a helper method that actually construct this dictionary when I pass along a list of menus, well, list of items that need to be listed in the menu. Yeah, okay, so okay, this can be done. This will be done in the future. Right, start menu, and this was what menu? Yeah, bot menu, string equal to this here, this menus, new bot menu, list bots is list bots menu. And actually, well, also I need to have them in one place because, well, there will be a lot of menus. So to keep track of if they are unique, well, to make sure that they are unique, well, it doesn't really. The only way to make sure that they are unique is put them into a list, because list doesn't allow. Oh no, doesn't allow. Well, there are certain data structures make sure that you have the same. Well, you can't enter the same value twice. Yeah. So I could use that, but I don't think they let you access the values like this. So I guess this is just something I will have to keep track myself. Well, I can see in the future I will have a bug. Well, I guess if I'm using the same name for a menu in the different places, I guess it has some shared functionality, so maybe I could implement it in a way where it works in both places. Yeah, guess that sounds good. So menus, there's bots menu. Right. Selection. String equal to this. What? Am I seeing this right? My Eclipse crashing? Okay, let's, I guess, do a restart. That was odd. Well, not expected at least. Right. Yeah. Menus. Language selection menu. Oksana Dimitrenko. Another bot. They got figured out a clever way to work around all the what's its name? The bots that are responsible for doing things like moderating chat. Yeah, moderation bots. Okay. So this looks like okay. The look of this improved a lot. Like it used to be one line, but now it just looks like it's technically two lines, because this line is just spread over multiple lines. The initialization of this. Okay. So it doesn't have any fields and anything else. So as a sanity check, let's just run it again. It's not already running. No, oh yeah, I restarted it. Well, I restarted Eclipse. So Discord does bot message and it returns everything. So yeah, that's good. And the first thing I want to work on is languages, I guess, to make languages work. Now I think, yeah, it just crashes. And the context is not iterable. Trying to iterate through it. So, oh yeah. So the context is an object now. Okay, handle input in basic class. So this is. Okay, so I guess I need to change this to make more sense. Right. Let's see. Didn't I already change it? I feel like. Oh no, it was for generating menu. Handling input hadn't actually looked at in detail. So it takes this, logs whatever was inputted. So it checks if menu items is. So yeah, oh yeah, so this then is correct. Then it extracts, it takes the item that was selected, and then it checks if it had any variables for that. Oh, so this is the part where I thought that this doesn't make sense. It has to be a dictionary as well, because yeah, not well, some of the values, this is a little bit different. Right. So this, I think it's not really sure actually. Function mapping is just a declared dictionary. So it declares a bunch of functions that need to be called to get that menu. So let's see. Right. Item variables. Tables. Items. Okay, now we need item variables. Okay. Item variables. And I guess it has to be a dictionary as well. Dictionary by default has value none. Right, and this represents variables to be passed along to the menu. Oh, it was initialized already. Menu items function. Right. Well, does it give only one variable? Okay, so instead of this, it checks if context menu item variables is not none, and then it checks if your input is one of the options in the dictionary. Okay. Item variables keys. This is the way to do this. And if it does, if this condition is met and it has values, I call a function mapping with parameters labels. Oh, so this is, yeah. Oh, this is kind of unnecessary at this point. Maybe I should remove this. Passing along this is just unnecessary. Like, because you just get all of the values from the singleton. Since, well, the labels are managed by the singleton. Yeah, and everyone has access to a singleton. Singleton is the one that doesn't have access to anything, but it doesn't need access. Right. User, yeah, user needs to be passed along, and context. Oh, so it uses. Oh, so this is the context that needs to be passed along. So it is a dictionary of contexts. Right. Oh no, actually it's not I'm dumb. It's just the values, whatever is assigned to that dictionary. Yes, it could be an array or dictionary or anything. Yeah, so this is super flexible. It's just basically anything you need, anything you want. Which is, I guess, variables and text. Oh. This. Menu item variables. Right. And if it doesn't have anything, it just passes along the same thing, but doesn't give any parameters. Oh. Right. Well, at least this shouldn't crash anymore. Not sure about menu context initialization. Maybe it will ask me to provide a value for it. Okay, I'm interested if this is gonna crash or it will complain that this doesn't have a value well, it's missing a value in the initialization. Hmm. Oh. Okay, I'm running it twice. See what happens. It'll crash twice as hard. This is the wrong console. So this is the one that actually handled everything, and yeah, it didn't crash, so I guess the default value, well, if I don't assign anything, just have none for all of them. One, none. Well, menu items is kind of necessary, so I don't assign none to it just yet. Yeah, I don't remember whether this was used. Okay, doesn't matter at this point. Right, stop running it, crash, all good. Back to the menu. Yeah, so this is not even needed. We'll just use default values. Oh, I guess just to be sure. Well, since testing is, testing is something to be, actually it's already time to end. Don't really have more time for today. Right. Yeah, I need to think about testing. Implementing testing is something I would like to have. And well, I guess when I'm done rewriting the things that I already implemented, so I have a couple of menus working, maybe some buttons working, so when I will know how to actually use everything, I can start thinking about how to use it in a way that makes it testable, easily testable with unit tests. Because testing is, well, in enterprise development, everyone says that it is done very thoroughly. In my experience, that's not necessarily the case, but it definitely has a very, well, it has benefits. Well, large long-term benefits that I would like to get, especially since I'm making a product. And if you're making a product, then like testing is like a must, pretty much. And if you're in the in the enterprise writing a solution, like a one-off thing, then yeah, you will, testing goes usually. If it's done on a very very shallow level, to make to get a check mark that it's been tested and the code coverage is good and so on. But code coverage is not everything. Well, I guess it's better than nothing, so that's for sure. Right, what I need to do for the next time? I guess I need to implement the menu. I will implement the language selection menu because it is one of the easiest ones. And looks like I already, I had a separate class. Well, I had to already deviate from the standard menu behavior to implement it. So it should be implemented more or less. Let's look at the mappings. I guess this tells what's implemented or not. Delete list bots language menu. So language menu is it initializes language menu. Language selection. Right. Yeah. Guess it's fine. From classes. classes, classifiers, import this menus. That's one thing I can change right off the bat. It's menus, language selection menu. So I guess I wrote it in a way where I don't actually pass along anything. What does handle the saving then? Saves the selection. I guess it's not implemented. Handle input. Yeah, it has to have validation and validation success methods defined, and I guess those should be defined here. Yeah. I guess for some reason I abandoned this at this point. So I guess for the next time I will implement the language selection. Because it has to touch a lot of things, including saving your selection to the database. Which might be a little bit more involved. Damn, this is turning out to be quite a project. Imagine now adding a test, well, a whole suite of tests on top of this, and this is like on par with enterprise projects. Damn. Well, but I am done for today. Next time I will be implementing the language selection menu. Well, next time it will be this evening, actually. So yeah, in like 7 hours? 6 hours? Yeah, 6 hours. So yeah, I'll go take lunch, do some other stuff I need to do, and come back to this. What do I want to look up in the meantime? Do I have anything else I need to look up? Yeah, I don't think I do. This is all good. So classifier for menus. I guess I can have a classifier for loggers as well. So I wouldn't have to use this thing. Because it is a general rule of thumb that your code shouldn't have like hard-coded strings in it. Like if you have strings, if you have predefined values, it should be like in some data structure. It shouldn't be just floating around. Yeah, so I guess eventually I will get rid of all of these constant strings and put them in appropriate places that will make them more easily usable. Yeah, I guess it's okay to do this when you're prototyping, but when you're actually writing a finalized solution, yeah, it's not what you want for your own sanity. Because when the time comes to actually look for a bug or add a feature, yeah, then it becomes a nightmare to keep track of all the labels and things and so on. So yeah, well, at the end, whenever that comes, all of this should be gone. All of this should be moved into classifiers like this, or data classes, or something like that. So I guess this is just part of the whole rewrite, right? So yeah, this evening I will be implementing languages menu to select a language. Yeah. And for now, I'm done. Oh yeah, one thing I always want to do at the end of the stream, as a closure, I want to make a commit, because I always forget this, and it's very annoying, because when you like accumulate changes from multiple days, like it doesn't really help. Everything looks like so what I'm talking about really quickly. So this highlight of line number means that this line has been modified since, well, compared to the version that's currently committed in the, well, in my case it's Git, but it could be any type of source control. Well, any system for source control. But in my case it's Git, and I'm not sure if there's any serious competition for Git at this moment. Everyone is just using Git. But yeah, this is very useful because you know that you made the change recently. This line has been changed from this to this. So what I changed is I'd added, instead of using a string, I can see that I can actually do a revert. So revert this line to what it used to be. Oh, and messed up. Well, okay, stop messing up. So revert line. What? Okay, well, I guess the it doesn't really doesn't really want to cooperate. Oh, because it reverts line, because it used to be in line number 9. Because this line wasn't here before. Maybe that's what's tripping it up. Usually it just undoes the change without. So here you can see that this has been added, this has been changed, and this part has been changed, and you can look at individual changes. So it is a very convenient tool when you're writing code, especially when you're writing a more complicated code, work on more complicated application. But for that to work, like, you need to make the commit when it resets all of these indicators, and you do that by just committing all of the changes to the source control. And yeah, where is it? Theme and commit. So this is how you do it with Eclipse. It's pretty much the same with all the. And now classifiers has been added as a new file, so I need to include this. This is Python's internal file that it speeds up the compilation and loading. So it just generates a bunch of files like that I don't really want to be committed to the source code. I just add them to ignore. Well, this is how Git works. I'm sure people know at this point. Right. Menu class update. These comments are not needed. Well, this is not how you should write comments, but I don't care. I never read them, so I never bother to write the comments properly. So I guess eventually it will come to bite me, and I will learn why I shouldn't be doing it like this. But I kinda know why I shouldn't be, but I don't really understand. Like, being aware of something and understanding something, I guess, are different things. And I guess I'm not really. I have a bad habit of learning from my own mistakes. But actually, this is on stream. Full page. Right, so you have everything nicely aligned, so everything is visible on stream, full screen, as it should. I can probably actually hide the portion of it. Even, yeah, maybe even this. And maybe even extend this a little bit. I don't really care about this part. Yeah. So to make it easier to align, this is this. Okay, should be good. Right. So commit is done. All of the everything is reset. Everything looks like it's no changes have been made because okay. And I'm done for today.